So for chapter 3 in business ethics, the first part was for us to discuss um, the concept of sustainability. So basically, what sustainability is, um, I did a little bit more of my own research on this, and it's basically being able to meet our own needs as like a society, as a world, um, without compromising everything, like people in the future generations and stuff like that. So there are multiple different ways we can do this. We can meet our needs through different types of power sources, such as solar power, wind power from the wind turbines, different things like that. Those are sustainable energy sources because they are renewable, and they'll never run out compared to using fossil fuels, which will get the things done that we need done today. However, there are consequences because the fossil fuels will run out eventually. And two, it has um, a negative impact on for the planet, and that will affect our future generations. It won't affect us right now, per se. It will in some ways, but it'll affect the future generations like big time if we continue this up. So sustainability is being able to meet our needs without compromising things in the future. There are certain things that we do today in order to prevent prevent companies from not being sustainable. So there's different government acts that are involved. The Clean Air Act regulates the CO2 emissions, things like that. Endangered Species Act, this protects species of different animals that have a chance of going extinct. It also protects the habitats of them as well, so you can't cut down a whole forest to build houses. You have to be able to do it sustainably and not do that. The Clean Water Act, this is a big one too, because I know there's a lot of places in the world that don't have clean water, even in places such as the United States. That's a big one. And the Food Quality Protection Act, stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of government placed acts that these companies and corporations have to abide by. So they have to figure out ways to meet those needs and generate their revenue and meet the needs of the customers and all the people, while not affecting things later on. So like you could produce tons and tons and tons of I don't know, like cars or something like that. But if you need to do that, if you know, um, if that has to be done, it must be done through a way. Must figure out a way in order for it not to affect. You can't just keep going through tons and tons of fossil fuels to keep your machines going, and then affect the air quality for the future generation. You have to figure out ways to do it. And the big thing too now is like cars. A lot of the cars now are going to electricity rather than using gasoline. So that's a big one. So, like I said before, there are different things. You have your standstill or whatever, like factories and stuff that put CO2 emissions and stuff like that. You have your moving ones, which are cars and trains and stuff like that use up that stuff. And then you have your natural ones, which are like volcanic eruptions and stuff like that. Um, so those are how the government kind of oversees and regulates those concerns. And you see a lot of these companies too trying to have zero net emissions or whatever by like 2050 or something like that, which is good. They're trying to be sustainable and meet the needs that we need now while not being having a negative impact in the future. So the second part is discuss the relationship between social responsibility, sustainability, and organizational ethics. So for this one, social responsibility and sustainability kind of go hand in hand because you need to be able to meet the needs of the people while also, satisfying them in terms of not destroying the planet or, not caring about them. So you need to be able to implement your own ethical standards within your business. And then from there, you need to have a plan as to how you're going to attract more customers through being able to be socially responsible. And how would you do that? How do you meet those needs and the demands of, per se, like customers or employees? You find sustainable energy sources. Like now, like I said before, cars are big into this. You want to meet the needs and be socially responsible, right, for your consumers. People want to buy electric cars because they know that it has a more positive impact on the earth, climate change and things like that, right? So how can they do that? They do that through electric cars, sustainable energy sources like that. That's a great example. You see a lot of people wanting to use solar energy rather than energy from fossil fuels and stuff like that. So they kind of go hand in hand. Companies will try and go above and beyond and use sustainable energy sources to meet the demands of their shareholders or stakeholders or whatever, customers, employees, suppliers, and things like that. So that is chapter 2.